Let me get to the President Trump trade wars. At the formal speech at the United Nations just hours ago, China thundered that it, quote, won't be blackmailed on trade. That was right after this morning when former Treasury Secretary Robert Rubin weighing in on trade tensions during a Q&A session with the man China sent in place of leader Xi Jinping to this week's UN General Assembly. Foreign Affairs Minister Wang spoke at the Council on Foreign Relations, and I had a chance to press him there on China's insistence that the U.S. businesses must have a Chinese partner if they want to do business in China. Even Secretary Rubin chimed in during the whole exchange, the man who dealt with China for years, and let's listen to that exchange. It is no surprise that the U.S. government, specifically the Trump administration, would like China to drop the requirement that American businesses who want to do business in China have to have a Chinese partner. The concern, of course, being that the Chinese partner may, let's say, borrow intellectual property. We'll use a nice word there. Is China willing to drop this requirement in the spirit of, as you said at the beginning of your speech, getting U.S.-China relations back on track? Thank you.
There's not a single piece of legislation or requirement in China asking for forced technology transfer from foreign firms to their Chinese counterparts. If you find anything like that, please bring it to our attention. And many foreign investors are now entering into areas where wholly owned foreign firms are possible.
But if you speak to American companies today, it is certainly their experience that in order to get access to the Chinese market in certain areas, they are being required to enter into partnerships or transfer technology in one way or another. And that, I think, is undermining business support for the American-Chinese relationship.
Yeah, so when he didn't answer my question, we got the assist from Robert Rubin. We now get an assist from former Commerce Secretary Carlos Gutierrez in a Fox Business exclusive. Wang said to us that America's self-imagined suspicion about China is a serious strategic misjudgment. Is this self-imagined that they are unfair in trade, or at least in doing business with the Americans?
Yeah, I think this is part of the discussion around the strategic document, national security strategy that was issued, and it basically said China's rise is going to impact the U.S., which is a difficult thing to do, to tell someone that you want to keep them down. That's the way China heard it. But yes, this is the big issue. And, you know, China 2025, which is their plan to have their own data, to keep data localized, to
take
have
over
IPR,
the world.
That's what we should be talking about. And we're talking about tariffs, and we're talking. So there are two different things here. One is the trade deficit. The other one is China 2025. Businesses are worried about the China 2025, not the trade deficit.
Well, before China 2025, U.S. businesses that went into China were forced to get a partner and give up or exchange technological know-how and proprietary intellectual property. That's what I was asking. Will you be willing to drop that in order to end this trade war? Because that's what I think President Trump would really like to see, and China's not budging on that.
Well, he said that there has been no legislation on that.
Who needs legislation? They do it. Talk to IMAX. Talk to, Manitowoc. They've all had their stuff taken.
Especially high technology. And what tends to happen is they get a partner, the U.S. company, and that partner goes off and builds his own plant. So the question is,
that intellectual property.
Right. What does the Chinese government do? Mm-hmm. I think we have to be careful to not assume that the joint venture partner is a member of the Chinese government. And we kind of get that. We blur that sometimes. We just say China, and that means the government.
You were also the CEO of Kellogg's for many years, the cereal company. Our farmers right now are dealing with a trade situation, whether it be with Canada, Mexico, or China. U.S. soybean supplies are rising to an 11-year high because China's not exactly buying our soybeans right now because of the battle. How is this going to affect consumer prices?
Well, you know, it's a big hit for farmers, right? Because you have excess inventory, you have too much product. So that's going to make prices collapse. And the question is, the $12 billion subsidy that the president's put into place, is that enough to offset What happens when you have a collapse in farm prices? That's the risk. Argentina, Brazil, they're filling in the gap on soybeans. The U.S. has got to, we're exporting out to Egypt and other places and trying to make up the difference. But it's hard to make up that kind of a margin.